How are we doing, KU basketball fans? This is your host, Nick Rondeau, here to talk to you on Jayhawks Daily about some KU updates, some recruits, some current players, just a little bit of everything to get Jayhawks going. And we're going to start off pretty hot with a prospect that I'm very excited about and has a lot of potential, who knows when. And that would be one, Alex Constanza. So Alex Constanza is getting another small forward. We're looking at a lot of small forwards recently, but I think that's a big domino to fall for the Jayhawks, and I think that could be the first domino to fall. But yeah, so Alex Constanza, 6'8", small forward, originally from Weston, Florida, 7'1" wingspan. I mean, incredible to have that kind of talent, but it creates incredible mismatches. I mean, just seeing his clips, the guy can defend clearly 1 through 5 almost just with his talent level. But another top 30 prospect. He's out of Spire Academy in Ohio. He originally was at Westminster Academy in Florida, but decided to go a little bit more the developmental route. Many people are doing that. Especially what I've talked about, but that's kind of the new wave is if you're really committed to basketball, you kind of got to leave home sometimes and you got to go to the places where you're getting incredible exposure, you're getting incredible, amount of developmental time surrounding basketball, and Spire Academy is going to be another one of those. But the kind of the thing that I love about this Constanza, not just fit, but is the fact that it kind of came out of the blue. He got an offer and a visit all scheduled within 1 week. And alarm bells kind of go up because people have had offers, especially a program like Kansas, have had offers out to eighth graders before. They've had, and maybe not, those are the very rare cases, but you have offers for these guys, starting almost their sophomore, junior year. And when you kind of see an offer like this coming a little bit out of the blue, maybe get him in the crimson and blue, but you kind of assume that it seems like the recruiting's not going that well for them. And obviously he's a top 30 recruit, so it's not like he's not getting recruited. It just means there's not a lot of traction, in my opinion, I believe. And, that's what I think. It's, September 12th, he got that first offer, and he had the visit in the exact same week. And apparently it went glowingly well, very happy about it. He visited with a couple of other guys that we'll talk about, but we already talked about with Ethan Taylor. But, that's the thing with this guy is he's just a mismatch problem. He's got incredible hands. The ball, when it's in his hands, he's just so quick. He's so smooth. And he's very nonchalant. I mean, it's very effortless. And, he's the thing I also said with potential with this guy is he is going to be about 20 years old by his freshman year. He's a 19-year-old already. Bill Self has rumored potentially with reclassifying, getting one more guy on the roster. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm just saying, these are things that Bill would love to put together a championship roster immediately. We're looking at a lot of small forwards for, this upcoming year, and we do have that maybe one pivot spot away to get it. And this could be a guy to really contribute, really play on the side of Darren Peterson, even in the starting lineup. I mean, he's just incredibly talented. He's explosive. He's got such soft hands. He's such a smooth passer. I mean, his stats in high school were averaging 30 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists, and 2 blocks. That's those 2 blocks you're going to get in this, just all from wingspan. And a lot of it's, it's just effortless for him. And I don't want to say it's, in a way, he's just so smooth that it looks like he's not trying. He obviously is. You don't put up those numbers, but with a guy on a team, what he was kind of positioned at before is it's his team. So he's controlling the ball. He's ball dominant. He's doing pretty much whatever he wants, and so that's kind of going to lead to his 4 turnovers per game. You're going to learn ball, value and importance very quickly, especially in a Bill Self system. So I could see a great fit for him here in KU. But, that's the thing is a significant number of these players are going to have very similar situations to what Constanza had. And I just would love to see, if we could get him this year, come on. I would be so incredibly happy. Add to the defense, add to the shooting, because this guy's just effortless. He does have to get the three-point shot up, but his mid-range and everything coming up, he's a pick and popper. He loves to just absolutely attack mismatches. You switch a big man onto him, he's going to pop it right in front of your face when he hits you on a quick jab step. So I'm just very pumped. He's even, he's being coached now by Kevin Boyle. And yes, maybe not everyone knows who Kevin Boyle is, but he's won multiple national championships while leading Montverde Academy in Montverde, Florida. Plenty of very talented players have come out of there. D'Angelo Russell, Ben Simmons. I mean, just absolute studs. So I definitely think that could be one to, kind of look out for. But who's got the best fit for him? That's what we're going to talk about next is, he's made it very clear he wants to go one and done. And, especially in a situation like this, that's why I keep, bringing up this rumor of could we bring him up this year? He says very clearly, and he would be eligible if he reclassified and, was filed correctly. He could be in the NBA by next year. I mean, he's just that skilled. And if you really get the proper coaching, which we all know Bill Self is capable of, the proper mentoring, which we've got plenty of, seniors or transfer guards that have had plenty of tenured experience in college basketball. The ceiling is going to be unbelievable for this guy. So it's just a very smooth player, but we're competing with a lot of schools. He's got 15 offers. He's visiting Syracuse in October, Illinois in December. So, this isn't going to come immediately, but if it was to reclassify, it would have to come in the somewhat near future. But that's why I'm not putting all the hopes there. 2026 is, still just around the corner for, these recruits, and, we could have a potential there. But, he's got Georgetown, he visited him back in June. Alabama, he's got an offer from. Still doesn't have a visit there scheduled. Miami, he does have a lot of big connections. People are saying Miami is the closest maybe for him, just based on location. He's a Florida man, so maybe he could kind of slide into there. So there's going to be a lot of competition. If Bill Self's going to sell him on this year potentially, it'd have to be a big sell. It could be too big for him, and I'm never going to rule it out, but who wouldn't be happy with it? And then just overall, just getting this guy in the building, I don't care if it's this year or next year, we need to get this guy in the building. He's just an incredible player. With NBA high hopes, yes, people worry about, the effort level. This guy's too talented to care about effort level. And when you are working with a guy like Bill Self, he gets the absolute best out of you at any point. I think there's going to be a lot of competition. Illinois, I think they've got a really good shot at him as well, given the fact that, with his recruitment, his father grew up with, the current Illinois assistant, Orlando Antigua, when they grew up in New York. So he does have that connection. It's something we can't exactly compete with, but it's also not something I'm going to say that's going to rule us out. And I definitely think, having that recent visit, having that offer quickly, seems like things were not going so well. He wasn't getting the exact offers, maybe potential what his role would be. Maybe he wasn't getting that from those other schools. And so KU, we're going to swoop in like a Jayhawk, and we're going to say you would look absolutely fantastic in the crimson and blue. So we'll see if he can, maybe Bill can get some magic going, get a small forward on the board pretty soon. Next up, we're going to talk about what I believe would be my dream prospect for Kansas. And this guy is an absolute sharpshooter, and I'm talking about Bo Ogden. 6'5", small forward out of Austin, Texas. Played at Westlake High School, been in Texas his whole life. And as you could assume, yes, he's got offers from University of Texas. He's got a visit this weekend. He just came from a visit at Tennessee and said he loved Rick Barnes. Well, maybe Rick Barnes didn't tell him about how the NCAA tournaments usually go for him. Sorry, Rick. But, he's also got a visited Purdue back in February. He did just cancel a UVA visit. But here's my thing with Bo, and here's why he's a dream fit for me. He's the shooter. I've made it clear in prior podcasts. I absolutely love to see a great shooter. And absolutely, just talent is already there. You don't need to develop a jumper. You've got a great stroke. You've got great confidence in this. And that is Bo Ogden in a nutshell. I mean, the guy shoots 47% from the floor and then 46% from three. He takes over 7 threes a game. On catch and shoot, he's 49%. When unguarded, he's 58%. It's just like he's an incredible shooter. He is a combo guard, so he's going to be good with the ball in his hands, but he's not the best passer. He's not an elite, decision maker yet, but he's going to be the catch and shoot guy. He's a sharpshooter. He is exactly what, when you're looking at the end of a game and you're saying, "Oh, who's going to make the big shot for us?" It's a guy like Bo Ogden. So I think it's impossible not to have, put a real effort into recruiting this guy. And, yes, we're going to go into potentially the reason why we may not have a big advantage to get him is his father is the general manager for Texas basketball, and people are already crossing this off the list, saying, "Okay, no chance we're going to get him." You don't always have to follow your family, and there have been cases in that in the past. But not only that, he's made it very clear, not even just at KU, that he's doing all these visits. He's still scheduling visits. He's just like I said, just was at Tennessee. He's taking this incredibly serious. He's not just going to go to a program where his dad is the general manager, essentially picking people out of a hat to put together the best. Yes, if his dad's looking, yeah, I bet he would think he's a perfect fit for Texas, but it may not be the best fit for him. He could have a better role in Bill Self's offense. He could see, I don't know, Johnny Furphy, Grady Dick, these sharpshooters just became lottery picks and were one and dones immediately with very similar, sizes, lengths that Bill Self just dealt with. He just developed these guys into the league. So I just think it's naive to think that just because his dad is, heavily involved in the University of Texas, he's only going to be looking at them. He's only going to be going to them. And I'm not saying, we're going to be a favorite. I'm just saying there's a chance. We've got an offer in. We've got a visit in the works. And I just think it would be foolish of us not to put in as much as we can to get this guy, because he is, like I said, the dream fit. He's a secret weapon. He's so quick with his shot. His stroke is so smooth. I remember I watched one game where I think he had 9 threes. You just see it, and the confidence is there. And I think in that game, I think he took almost 16. Yet you're seeing a lot of volume, but you're also seeing the fact that confidence gets instilled in a guy like that, and it carries on. And I would love to see him in the Crimson and Blue. It's just he's an incredible rebounder as well. He's going to be playing from the perimeter a lot. He averaged almost 6 rebounds a game from there. It's something that it could push us over the edge, I would say. That would be an excellent recruiting class. We pair him up with Talon Kinney, who we're talking about tomorrow. Yeah, we're talking about Talon Kinney. We put him out together, facilitator, kick and shoot. I don't think there will be a better backcourt. I mean, come on. Maybe he won't start, but whatever it is, I'm just saying he's not one-dimensional. And the thing with his guy is Steph Curry changed the game. This guy's got range. I mean, he's got range. So I don't know the sabermetrics you'd say of his average three-point shots, but these are a couple steps behind the line. I mean, some of them really deep. I just think it's foolish not to really put in a full, vetted effort for a guy like Bo Ogden. And please, KU, if Bill Self and your staff, please keep putting in a great effort, because Bo, he could answer another one on the banner, and I that could be a lot of hope for him. But I just think you pair him with the right guys, he fits with everybody, absolutely everybody. So last up, we just kind of want to talk about a little bit of the current. I love this team specifically this year too much to just talk about the potential of next year, and that's my man Jamari McDowell. I think he's going to have a breakout year on the bench. I mean, I just remember 2 years ago, he only averaged about 8 minutes a game, getting a couple points, but it was the crucial moments that Bill put him in. He was the perfect spark plug, in very clutch games, a quick steal, a quick transition bucket. I just remember he was the kind of energy that we needed off the bench 2 years ago that we heavily lacked last year. And yes, he did have the injury. That's why he redshirted last year, but another year in a Bill Self system. He was already a 4-star recruit. He was an unbelievably talented player coming into KU. It was all about KU pretty much from his recruiting process. So he's bought into the system, and now I think he's just going to come in and work kind of flawlessly. He has so much less pressure on him, given the fact that we got these high-profile transfer guards in Jaden Dawson and Melvin Council and Trey White. The fact that you have that, the pressure's kind of off you. You're in his system. Come off the bench and just let him fly. Let it work, because his defense shows first, and I just think it's perfect. Bill Self even said this, last year when he announced that he was going to be redshirting. He says he's a terrific blend guy. He can pretty much fit in and make every guy on the team better, because he's so comfortable in doing what he understands, and that's working with everyone. That's staying comfortable. That's playing defense. That's playing on both sides of the ball. That's running to every single play. That's getting in the right spots. So I just think he said he improved a ton from his freshman year to what would have been his sophomore year, which he redshirted. So now redshirt sophomore year. He said he improved just to that point, and he still had to redshirt. Another year under Bill Self, another year developing. just in the room, working with DeJuan last year, just with a couple of shooters now and Jaden Dawson. I just think he's going to learn so much from these guys. Just stay like a sponge. And Jamari McDowell could have a very crucial role, I think, in key moments in games. Big steals, big shot making, and just big energy. He's just a spark that we definitely need, because I cannot tell you how many times I've seen over the past 6 years where we were only 6 deep, and yes, some of those times that absolutely worked incredibly well for us. 2022, thank you, Remy Martin. But you do need a solid bench. You can't just go 6, 7 deep. Sometimes transfers don't always work out. AJ Storer, I did like Ryland Griffin, but sometimes they don't, and sometimes the system play works better. And I think Jamari McDowell will never fumble or falter at that opportunity, and he's going to very much succeed. Will it be early on? Will it be a little bit later on the season? I don't know, but I know that no matter what, he's gonna answer the bell when his number's called. So that's all we're going to be talking about here for today on Jayhawks Daily. Again, this is your host, Nick Rondeau. I very much appreciate you guys for listening. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you here next time on Jayhawks Daily. Rock Chalk.